Hello, people of YouTube. This is Brandon Sports coming back at you. Not live, highly edited, maybe a little bit better edited than last video. But today I'm going to go into the first round of the playoffs coming up this upcoming weekend. Go into the matchups and just give you my opinion and my picks for the weekend. And obviously, take this with a grain of salt. I mean, I don't know the teams so well as the Buccaneers, so I'm just going to be saying what my opinion is and what I believe who will win. So the first matchup this weekend is going to be on Saturday, I think at 4, is the Colts playing at Houston, the Houston Texans Stadium. This is going to be a fun matchup. They're divisional rivals, and this will be a fun matchup because these teams are both high divisional rivals. And if you looked at the beginning of the season, you would not expect them to both be in the playoffs. The Texans beginning the season 0-3, and then finishing 11-5. And the Colts actually, a lot of people, and that was a big deal for the Texans because everyone thought the Texans were going to be good to begin with, and they finally caught their stride after those 3 games. But a lot of people don't realize that the Colts were actually 1-5 in the beginning of the season, and ended the season 10-6. So they went and won 9 out of their last 10 games, which is a pretty good feat for this team. So this game, I'm going to label this game as the battle in the trenches. This is definitely going to be a game where the trenches decide who will be the winner in the outcome.
It's got blood on it.
Is a Saving Private Ryan clip really that appropriate to voice my choice in this matchup? Probably not, but come on, folks. It's Saving Private Ryan. But that's right, folks. I'm referring to this game as the Battle of the Trenches, primarily due to the Colts' fantastic offensive line. In order for them to win, it determines on the offensive line success. And in order for Houston to win, determines on how well they could beat out this offensive line. Currently, well, right now, at the end of the regular season, Houston's actually first in giving up sacks at 62 sacks. So that means Deshaun Watson has been sacked 62 times over these past 16 games, as opposed to the Colts actually are dead last in giving up sacks. So that means they only had Andrew Luck sacked 18 times, which is a huge difference. And yes, this could be because Deshaun Watson, when he rolls out, he's more likely to get sacked. But you know, when someone, the fact that he has to roll out means that the pocket's usually closing in and he's running out of time, so he has to use his feet and make some more time. And not even just them giving up sacks. Andrew Luck plays lights out against the Texans, especially this past year. In their 2 matchups, they are tied, each winning one of the matchups. But Andrew Luck's stats stick out, him throwing 863 yards and 6 touchdowns on this defense. And also, he's backed by an underrated defense that is actually ranked 10th in allowed points per game and has been playing a lot better in December since then. The only thing that I could see Houston beating the Indianapolis Colts is their difference in takeaways, and by that meaning picks versus interceptions that they throw or turnovers. Houston's actually second in positive takeaways, so their defense does have a lot of interceptions and a lot of turnovers, whether it be fumbles. However, I believe that a great offensive line prevents these mistakes, prevents these dumb interceptions from being pressured. Andrew Luck just has all the time he needs to sit in that pocket. So unless Houston comes out swinging and J.J. Watt is out there putting pressure on Andrew Luck, I don't see Andrew Luck making much mistakes. It's, like I said, this is up to the trenches. If Houston wants to win, their defensive line will have to step up. And if the Colts just play how they've been playing, they should be doing pretty well. And even looking at their past matchups in December, the Colts have won most of their games. Past matchups was they beat the Titans 33-17. The Titans looked like they're going to be a playoff team with Derrick Henry killing it. They shut out the Cowboys. They defeated the Texans in the beginning of December. This team definitely does look like the real deal. They're not just some typical wild card team that just sneaks their way into the playoffs. They definitely earned it, and I believe that the Texans are a little bit inconsistent. They've been playing crappy teams in December, and they haven't really been blowing them out. So that's my take on that game. I believe that the Colts will beat them 30-24. I believe that if Houston has a chance to beat them, they will have to get Andrew Luck on the ground and have him scrambling around the pocket and creating mistakes. The next matchup is going to be around 8 o'clock on Saturday. It's the Seattle Seahawks at the Dallas Cowboys, which is a very anticipated game of the first weekend of the playoffs. Right away, I'm going to title this game as home field advantage. I believe that the Cowboys will defeat the Seahawks, and I believe that this could be a close game. The reason why I believe that they will defeat the Seahawks is I believe that they're actually a decently evenly matched team. Both utilize running the ball over passing, and both rely on their defenses making big plays. However, I would say that Dallas's defense is more consistent of a defense, especially as of late. They definitely prove themselves as a top defense in the NFL. The only thing I'd say the Seahawks have on the Cowboys is they have a versatile roster of running backs. These running backs being Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, Mike Davis. They, from what I know, they split the ball up very well against them or with them, as opposed to the Cowboys who heavily rely on Zeke to ball out. If you would have asked me who I thought would win this game a few weeks ago, I'd probably say the Seahawks. But when I looked at their past schedule, they beat the Cardinals, they beat the Chiefs, they lost to the 49ers, they beat the Vikings, and they beat the 49ers. And those are the games in December, and those are usually the games that matter when it comes to dictating the playoffs. The only team, and when you think about I thought that the Seahawks are actually on a roll. They also beat the Packers at the end of, or midway through, and the Panthers midway through November. And I actually thought the Seahawks were on a roll, and I was like, wow, this is the real deal. This team could put an impact on the playoffs. But then when I looked at it, the only team that they beat out of all the names that I put, like you would think the Vikings were good last year, the Packers, the Panthers, but all those teams are not playoff teams this year and fell apart towards the end of the season, actually. The only team that I listed there was the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was at Seattle. That was home. And Seattle's playing in Seattle is known as the 12th man. No, it's hard to win in Seattle, and I believe if this game was in Seattle, Seattle would win. Unfortunately, it's in Dallas, which is also a major stadium. So that's why I titled this the home field advantage. I think Dallas will win. Their defense will step up. Their stadium will be loud. Russell Wilson is definitely a top-tier quarterback in the league. Dak Prescott, if he had to go to the Seattle, I believe he'd choke. But the fact that he is in Dallas, I believe that Dallas's defense will win this game for them, along with their home field advantage. And I believe that the score would... I'm just going to put my score because it's fun. The score is going to be 24-20 Dallas. So the next matchup is Sunday at 1. It's the LA Chargers at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to call this game the Wildcard game. You heard me right, folks, the Wildcard game. I call this one the Wildcard game because I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in this game. Nah, but I call it the Wildcard game because I believe this game could go either direction. I'll be surprised if this is a close game. Of course, I want it to be a close game, but these teams are just... The Chargers in the beginning of the season were a little bit more high scoring than they have been of late. And the Ravens' defense is definitely the most consistent defense in the NFL right now. But ultimately, this is my opinion. This is the Brandon Sports Show.
It's my house. You know what it is? And if you don't like it, you get the fuck out.
But this is a hard matchup to predict. On one side, you have Lamar Jackson, who although he has been showing great sparks, excellent runner. His passing's It's definitely Like I put him in the back of the pack when it comes to NFL passing, but I mean it doesn't really matter. He could freaking scramble with the ball and just bomb it downfield or just run with it. So teams still have to play on their toes when they play him. The only thing I'd say about the last game was the Chargers never played Lamar Jackson and his play style before, so that could have had an impact on how they handled the Ravens' offense. But that's still no excuse for the LA Chargers with Philip Rivers and Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen to only put up 10 points against this Ravens defense. I believe that Philip Rivers is extremely hungry, that he is going to show up and play. And if not, then this franchise is in big trouble because this is a time where they have to play their best. And I believe that the Ravens are a team that can match up with any team in the NFL and hold their own against that team. I think the Chargers could beat the Chiefs, but I still think the Ravens still have a shot to beat the Chargers and have a shot to beat the Chiefs and even have a shot to beat the Saints. I think this Baltimore Ravens team plays old smack mouth football. They have like three runners. They have Gus Edwards and they have Lamar Jackson running the football, and they have Kenneth Dixon running the football as well. And if you look at their past games, like each of these running backs average like 80 plus yards a game. Their offense is just fun to watch. Lamar either scrambles with the ball, they just run the play action, and he doesn't really even need an arm to throw it because someone's open because they're expecting them to run the ball, which they do 90% of the time, it seems. I'm just going to have to go to the Chargers on this one. I don't think Lamar will be the first rookie quarterback to win a playoff game. He's just prone to so many. I just think he's going to choke in the playoffs. It's a terrible reasoning, and I apologize to my Baltimore friends. I have so many Baltimore Raven friends, but I'm going to go to the Chargers on this one. I believe Philip Rivers is not going to let this one slip out of his sight. I believe he's going to take advantage of this game in advance, with the score being 27-10 Chargers. And that's why the score is far fetched. I'm either going to be so right or so wrong, I believe. Or I hope. I'd rather be so right or so wrong than it being a close game. But if they can handle, I think the Chargers can learn to handle the Ravens offense. But if they could just work on not having turnovers and play smart, because if they try playing fast and play into the Ravens' hands, they will lose. Because the Ravens, unfortunately, they want you to play their smack mouth game. They want you to play fast so you make dumb mistakes, so they can blitz you, so they can pick off the ball. And then when they get good field position, that's when their mediocre offense could just smack mouth run the football down your throat. You make another mistake on offense, defense is back on the field. Offense is running the ball on defense, then the fucking Chargers defense will be exhausted, and that's how they won last time. They just controlled the time, they controlled the clock. And if the Chargers just play smart and play patient, and their defense just plays smart and patient, I think the Chargers will win. And I don't think they're going to let this one slip away. Last matchup of this weekend, I'm very excited for all these matchups, is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles playing at the Chicago Bears. This game, I will call the Superman game. That's a little corny. But anyway, my prime example is you see the Bears, their defense has been known as like it was like a blast in the past. Like the Chicago Bears are back, their defense is back. They've been known since the beginning of the season as one of the best defenses, being up there, maybe even a little better than the Ravens. But I believe behind that strong defense, that Superman defense, is their kryptonite, and that kryptonite is their offense. I believe their offense is extremely inconsistent. They only play well when their defense plays well, which is obviously understandable. Mitch Trubisky is not experienced in the playoffs. This will be his first playoff game, I believe. Neither are the running backs, Howard and Cohen. They're not experienced in the playoffs at all. That whole team is very inexperienced when it comes to the playoffs. And that being said, on the other side of the ball happens to be the ex-Super Bowl champions, playing with their Super Bowl quarterback, who has been lighting it up this year. Saint Nick, as they refer to him as. I believe that Saint Nick is the real deal. I mean, he didn't do well in the beginning of the season, losing to my Bucks. Shout out to my Eagles fans out there. But I believe that the Eagles are the real deal. Like I said, I usually look back into December when I pick my picks. They beat the Redskins. They lost to the Cowboys in overtime at Dallas. They defeated the Rams, they defeated the Texans, and they just shut out the Redskins. And obviously the Redskins are like the redheaded stepchild down the street for the NFC East. But I believe this Eagle team is the definition of clutch. I believe that they rally behind St. Nick. They know that they cannot rely on Carson Wentz because he's hurt. So they all play much better. I believe the defense is playing much better. And I believe the key to defeating the Chicago Bears team is to put pressure on Mitch Trubisky, and I believe that they could do just that. And also looking at the Bears' past schedule, they beat the Vikings, who ended up to not be a very great team, the 49ers, the Packers, the Giants. They did beat the Rams, which you had to give them that. They did beat the Rams.
Field a lot, not getting off on third down.
Resume of December was a lot better than Chicago Bears.
And first down inside the 40. Now it's Goddard. Gets down around the 30 of Washington. Fine.
Eagles are experienced in the playoffs because all their players are just there. And then you got
and it's intercepted into the arms of the Redskins. DeShazer Everett with the pick. And right now, in a scoreless game here, the Bears are leading Minnesota in their game 7-0. Foles to Stroll. With room to run. He goes up the sideline, up near the 35. So he stepped out at the 33, but good enough for a first down.
The Bears offense, they've definitely been lacking.
Wendell Smallwood with an increase first down across the 45-yard line.
Today for Matt Ioannidis, but that's a big group of 3 guys inside.
So
it's a flip to Nelson Aguilar, and he's got another Eagle first down.
I believe that this will be a close game.
Foles, Alshon Jeffrey has it, and yes, he stayed in bounds. Good footwork, but
there's the 2 feet down. It sure looked like he had it secured. Now he's going to the ground, so does he maintain possession? It sure looks like he did.
The game winner, his time expired from 35 yards away last week. Elliott from 33.
The coach has more experience as well as of late.
Second and 11. And open downfield for a first down catch at the 43 is Josh Doctson.
We thought that they were going to make it.
Johnson's in trouble.
The first round.
Knocked down, he'll lose yardage coming up from his...
Do anything cute. I'm trying not to force it up the game coming.
A prime example of a very
Smallwood gets the first. That was a tough hit at the 25-yard line, but the pitch to
first round in the playoffs is a Jackson.
Here's Howard again. He's got the first down and plenty more. Harrison Smith trying to slow him down.
The Bills their first
out of
round.
bounds inside the 25.
Against the Buffalo freaking Bills. The Buffalo Bills.
Trubisky hangs in, finds his man, has a first down as the pass is caught by Trey Burton.
He's had a nice season. It was a good addition by Ryan Pace, the general manager, bringing him in.
Win this game, they will
first down and goal. Howard carries and carries it into the end zone. What a start for Chicago.
They're playing
down 7 now. We'll see how patient he is running the football if they don't get some first downs.
Cousins is sacked.
Experience as the Jaguars.
It's Eddie Goldman getting through. Sack number 3.
Anthony Barr had to come and take him on at 312 pounds.
Trubisky.
So those are my picks, guys. Just for fun, take it with a grain of salt, like I always say. Yeah. For those people that I know that are fans of the teams that I picked to lose, don't freak out. Just all you gotta say is at least we're in the playoffs. The Buccaneers haven't been in it for like over 10 years. I'm a butthurt fan, but this is just my opinion. It's for fun. Relax. But yeah, I hope you liked the rant video. Let me know in the comments below. No one has really been commenting, and hit the subscribe button. Maybe you might accidentally tap it. That'd be cool too. But thank you again.